Hello everyone. Welcome to this week's UCT CRE lesson, World of Wonder, Session 8. This week we're going to be talking about life-giving plants. Today we'll be reading a story, Noah's Wife, the story of Nama, and learning about how to make a recycled watering can from a plastic jug. We'll start, as always, with lighting up the chalice, and I invite you to light a chalice at home. But remember, if you're using a real candle, to ask your parents' permission to make sure that you have proper supervision. We light our chalice to honor the web of all life. We honor the sun and the earth that brings life to us. We honor the plants and creatures of land, water, and air that nourish us. And we honor each other, gathered here to share the wonder of our world.
Hey friends, I know usually for the story you see my face, but I'm very sunburnt right now, so putting on any kind of nice clothes is a little painful, so I'm just going to be recording like this. Our story this week is Noah's Wife, the story of Nama. In the time when the world was still young, plants and animals and people filled all creation, but the people were not always kind to one another. In Earth's garden, there lived a man named Noah and a woman named Nama. God said to Noah and Nama, "There is too much hate on earth and in people's hearts, but your hearts are good and you can help me begin again." God said to Noah, "Make yourself an ark of gopher wood. Do it this quickly, for I am about to bring a great flood to destroy all that is under the sky. Bring 2 of every animal that lives on this earth, birds and cattle and creeping things of every kind. Gather enough food for you and for them and store it in the ark." Then God called out to Nama, "Walk across the land and gather the seeds of all the flowers and all the trees. Take 2 of every kind of living plant and bring each one onto the ark. They shall not be for food, but they shall be for your garden, to tend and to keep. Work quickly. The rain begins tomorrow." Nama tied an apron of many pockets around her waist and walked through all of the earth's fields and gardens. She journeyed into the forest and carefully gathered the spores from the moss that made the carpet at her feet. She placed them in the cool, deep pockets of her apron, away from the light and the sun. She came upon the great giant redwoods. They carried their cones too high for her hands to reach. "God," called Nama, "blow me a wind so that the redwoods will let go of their seeds and I may gather them." Just then a fierce wind howling sound blew through the forest, and soon at Nama's feet were the cones of the redwoods. Nama picked acorns from the oak trees and nuts from the pecan and pistachio trees. The winged seeds of the maples snapped under the gentle pull of her hands. She carefully lifted the seedlings of the cedar and cypress trees, the prism and plum. She found every tree from acada to ziphus. Nama walked into the fields right past the dandelions, pretending not to notice their feathery yellow heads sprouting over the grass. "Nama," called God, "gather the seeds of every living plant." And Nama knew that God meant the dandelions too. Reluctantly, she placed their seeds in her pockets with all the others. Because Nama had ignored them, God made certain that dandelions would cover the earth. Nama gathered the seeds of the sunflowers and buttercups, the orchids and jasmine. The fields blossomed with the lilas and daffodils, lilies and lavender. She picked 2 of every kind and planted them in red clay pots to carry into the ark. She collected all of the flowers, from the amaryllis to the zinnia. Tomatoes burst with seed, and avocado pits rested in their green fruit. The fields were ripe with potatoes and pomegranates, oranges and okra, lima beans and lemons. Nama carried large straw baskets to hold all the varieties of fruit and vegetables, everything from apples to zucchini. When Nama had collected the seeds and seedlings of every living plant upon the earth, she arranged every plant and seed in each in its special place on the ark. Then she made a sign that said, "Nama's garden. These plants are not for food." Then the sun disappeared. Lightning flashed and thunder boomed. Dark clouds filled the sky and rain poured from the heavens until the waters covered all the lime-green aspens and the emerald-green pines. Noah and Nama looked out over the waters and were sad for all that had been destroyed. For 40 days and 40 nights the skies never brightened and the rains never ceased. On the ark, Noah and Nama cared for the lions and the leopards, the porcupines and parrots, the possums and the orangutans. Some of the animals liked to eat in the day, and some wanted to eat at night. Just as the squirrels closed their eyes for the evening, the owls hooted for food. There were as many sounds as there were animals on the ark. The coyotes howled, the snakes hissed, and the peacocks shrieked. The noises never stopped. Water was everywhere, but there was none for a bath. The smell of animals filled the ark. At these times Noah and Naamah would breathe the sweet aroma of the flowers and sit in the quiet of the plants that they had called Naamah's garden. They prayed for the rains to stop. After 40 days and 40 nights, a rushing wind rolled over the waters, and the rain ceased. The ark rested on the mountains of Ararat. Then Naamah and Noah looked out the window atop the ark. They saw the black sky soften into shades of blue. Finally, the ground was dry and firm. 2 by 2, Noah led the animals from the ark. Some pranced, some flew, some slithered, and in this way they spread out over the earth. Naamah carefully placed all the seeds and seedlings into the deep pockets of her apron. As soon as she set foot on the new land, Naamah knelt down, put her hands into the soft, moist earth, and made small cradles in which to plant. She placed downy tufts of milkweed seeds in her palms and held them up to the sky to let the wind carry them in all directions. Naamah took off her sandals and let her feet sink into the soft soil. She sighed with delight at the touch of the land. Morning gave way to afternoon, and Naamah worked without rest. As she prattled the earth around a small raspberry bush, a dark red berry fell generously into her hand. The taste of ripened raspberry refreshed her. God saw all that Naamah had planted, and God said, "Because of your great love for earth, I will make you guardian of all living plants." For a single moment, God gave Naamah's eyes the vision to see into the future and from one end of the earth to the other. She saw how the seeds were carried great distances and how they landed softly on the ground. As God had promised, dandelions were everywhere. Naamah delighted in how the trees grew tall and spread umbrellas of shade over the earth. Flowers sprinkled yellow, peach and lilac over the fields. To this day, whenever someone digs in the earth and plants a seed, Naamah's garden continues to grow.
All right, friends, for today's activity, we are going to be making the recycled watering can out of a plastic jug, a small finishing nail, and a hammer. And we are going to be decorating it with stickers. So to get started on this, we're going to take our jug with the cap on, and we're going to take our nail, and we're going to start hammering holes in the top. You will most likely need an adult to help you for this, so please make sure that you have proper supervision or help. Alright, we have finished nailing holes in it. We ended up having to get a bigger nail because the first nail was too small. So now that we have done that, we are going to decorate with stickers. Alright, we have decorated our water bottle with our stickers, and we have filled it with water, so now we are going to see how well it works. And it works actually really great. So there you go. That's how you can make a recycled watering can.
Today we learned about Naamah, replanting the earth, and how to make recycled watering cans. Don't forget to send us pictures to the email address listed below. And thank you for joining us.